Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Korea University GSIS Open House. And for both those of you who are here in-house and those of you who are there in your own house or office, I welcome you heartily and hope that today's session will be useful for you. But before I share with you my spiel and other people's spiels, I would like to introduce our dean, Dean Moonsung Kang, who will make a few opening remarks to welcome you and encourage you to attend.
Hello, everyone. I'm Moonsung Kang, Dean of GSIS Korea School of International Studies here at Korea University. Welcome to KU GSIS Open House. And then, KU GSIS was established in 1991. And we've been teaching and educating students who can meet the intellectual demands of globalized world. In addition, the KU GSIS is trying to internationalize the education philosophy of Korea University, such as liberty, justice, and the truth. We do have 21 globally competitive faculty members covering globalized issues and conducting research and education. One of the most appealing aspects of KU GSIS is that we are pursuing interdisciplinary programs encompassing a wide range of disciplines, including international commerce, international development cooperation, international peace and security, regional studies, and Korean studies. The interdisciplinary education at KUGSIS allows students to deepen their global perspectives and to have valuable insights into the dynamics of global governance, international relations, international trade and business, and the development organizations. We do have special programs such as Bring Korea 21 program, GPAS, Campus Asia certificate programs. Later on, Associate Dean Porter will explain it. And the dual degree and exchange programs are available, having their multiple universities abroad. And also we are providing a lot of scholarship opportunities, including PK21, GPAS, Campus Asia, and the teaching assistantship. So overall, I'm pretty confident our program at the KUGSIS well designed to meet the high demands of most talented people and the students just like you from all over the world. So I just sincerely look forward to meeting you in our campus, and especially at the International Studies Hall at the Seoul campus of Korea University. Once again, welcome to KUGSIS. Thank you.
And thank you, Dean Gong, for providing an excellent summary of the material that will be elaborated on now by myself and a couple of other professors and some of our current students here. I realize I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Cuz Potter, the Associate Dean of GSIS and your major point of contact for questions about the program, not the administrative questions, but the content questions and what have you. That's me, and I'm here to encourage you and help you join our team. So what we're going to cover in the next period of time here is to talk about why you might want to study international studies. I mean, you probably already have an idea since you're tuning in. Why you should do that here at Korea University's Graduate School of International Studies. A little overview of what you can learn here and how you can pursue your degree here at KUGSIS. Some additional opportunities that are available, as well as some suggestions and guidelines on how you might be able to pay for all of this quality education. And then we'll also talk about who you can meet here and perhaps in future employment opportunities, which I know is a motivation for many people. So I first want to talk about why international studies, of course. And this is because the world as we know it is undergoing major transformation at the moment, right? We know the world is full of war at the moment. It's full of disease that as much as we want it to be post-COVID, it's not yet post-COVID. There are new variants that are as contagious as the original SARS coming around to get us that are going to avoid our vaccines. Sorry, I'm getting worried about the winter time. We're in a new period of technological innovation and production between automation of both production and processing through artificial intelligence. And as you all know, our world is becoming environmentally unstable with flooding everywhere. This is a picture of, I think, Australia from last year, but we could easily show pictures from Korea this year, or even more deeply heartbreaking pictures from Pakistan from this year, where in Pakistan, it's going to be one of the most difficult winters in generations for Pakistanis. So, and all of this is because of climate change. So the world requires new professionals, hopefully like you, not hopefully like you are the people we need, right? We need professionals who are able to critically and ethically evaluate the challenges that we're facing, that are able to contribute their own individual expertise to our discussions, who are able to communicate across different specializations, economics, politics, environment, urban planning, et cetera, and those people who are able to integrate disparate views and specialized knowledge together, because this itself is a skill that we need in order to tackle these multidimensional problems. So why should you do this at KU GSIS? Well, obviously because we're trying to create precisely that kind of professional. We allow you to chart your own course here to fulfill your own individual vision, right? Because each one of us has a different set of ideas about what the world should be and a different skill set that we can use to contribute to that. And so each of us needs to pursue a kind of individual, tailored college and graduate school curriculum here. And so, of course, we allow you to carefully select your courses and your certifications in order to maximize your own future. Of course, all of our courses are taught in English, so these skills are also developed. And as you can see, we have roughly, at the moment, 370 students from over 60 countries around the world. Hopefully, some of you can join and fill in some of those white spaces you're seeing on there, right? We need some more Brazilians and Africans, all right? I hope you're tuning in. Just in case you're worried that you might not have an appropriate educational background, that you didn't do political science, you didn't do economics, here is a sort of overview of the undergraduate majors of our students from the previous semester. And you can see that while many of them have degrees in business or political science or international studies, many people come from a variety of backgrounds. And I think this is one of the things that makes our program so enriching and enriched, because it requires, again, all of these different specializations to come together to be able to communicate across disciplines in order to address the problems, the complex problems that our world is facing. And to help you find your way through your degree and to find your way forward, we have a world-class faculty with over 50 lecturers total, 21 full-time professors at the moment. we are now looking for a new professor in data science and Korean studies. So if you know anybody, spread the word. We're looking for good people to move forward. And because we have so many lectures and whatnot, we have just in GSIS alone, we have over 50 classes this semester. So we have, there are always courses available to meet your individual needs. We also, of course, host a wide variety of events throughout the year. These cover a range of topics from diplomacy, war. We have one on gender equity and development coming up. We have a host more that you can see on our website. And since I've mentioned the website, let me encourage you to visit our website and check it out, because the website itself has an incredible number of event announcements, but also very detailed information, more detailed information about everything we're going to talk about today. So many questions that you might have can also be answered by looking at our website. So what can you learn here at KUJSIS? Really the question is, what can't you learn? What can you not learn? Not that you're not going to learn, but we cover such a comprehensive range of materials in international studies that you can pursue most any interest that you do have. We have basically two degrees here. There's a master's degree and a PhD degree. In the master's, with your cohort, we've now integrated these into one comprehensive degree that you choose your track, and that can be international commerce, international development and cooperation, international peace and security, area studies, or Korean studies. And in the PhD, we have two specialized tracks. One is international commerce, and the other is international relations, which it covers basically international development and cooperation and international peace and security. But for what it is, no promises, but we're actively now looking into creating two new PhDs, one in Korean studies and one in international development. So that might expand itself going forward. There are a number of dual and exchange programs and special programs that we have that you'll hear more about in a little bit. So first, let me talk a little bit about our tracks. The largest distinction that you have to make here is between choosing our thesis track or our non-thesis track, right? So it's not obligatory that you write a thesis here, but you are I personally strongly recommend that you choose to do so. And here are a number of examples from, I think, last fall. So many theses that we couldn't fit them all on the slide and still make them legible. But the reason I recommend that you consider writing a thesis is that it allows you to further specialize in what it is that matters most to you. Because no matter what program you go into, you're never going to find a professor, or maybe on the rare instance, you may find a professor who does exactly what you want to do. But in general, you don't. And the point of getting a graduate degree is actually to create new knowledge and to actually push in directions that nobody has gone before, including your advisor. And so choosing to do a thesis not only allows you to contribute to our general knowledge, global knowledge, but it also allows you to build the research and analytical and writing skills that you need to find a good employer. These research skills and the skills that are involved in writing a thesis are highly desirable by employers. And finally, it allows you to specialize in exactly your area of interest, which also will help you find employment in the field that you want to later on, because it gives you something very concrete to talk about when you go on those job interviews. So again, it's not obligatory unless you are a BK21 student, but strongly recommended that you choose a thesis, right? This is a personal challenge that if you take it up and challenge yourself, you will ultimately be happy about it. You probably won't be happy about it while you're doing it, but you will be happy about it when it's done. You will be happy that you have done it at some point. So we have, with this in mind, you can do your master's degree with the thesis track or with the non-thesis track. And basically the fundamental difference is that the thesis research and the thesis writing classes become elective classes. This is the fundamental difference here. So I don't want to spend too much time on this. I just want to highlight a couple of things that we think allow you to do your job better and to choose your own specialization a little bit better. One of those is that we have 4 core classes: international business, economics, world politics, and introduction to international development and cooperation. And we think these are tightly bound together, but we also understand that depending on your own interests, you don't necessarily need all 4. So you only have to choose 3 of these and can choose not to take one of them. You can choose to take it, but you can choose not to take it. And this allows you, again, to sort of provide a little bit more focus. Of course, you have to take a lot of courses in your own track, in your own concentration. You also need to take some classes in area studies so that you have a region of the world that you're more familiar with than others. And I just want to point out here that if you are an international student, Korea can be your area study concentration. And then the other last things to point out for at the moment is that we recognize that even though we have 50 classes, they may not be the ones that you need right now. So you can take up to 3 credits from another university and up to 6 credits from other KU graduate school programs, as long as their classes are in English. So you can even reach out beyond KU GSIS to find additional specialized material that works well for you. People often do this with languages, actually. And as I said, the non-thesis track just shifts classes into major electives. And overall, these amount to about 3 classes per semester, which I personally think is too few. Maybe some of our students think it's too many, but it averages out to about 3 classes a semester. So we've made a new change with your cohort, which is that we've now sort of consolidated the Korean Studies master's degree under our broader master's degree. So you can freely switch to Korean Studies or from Korean Studies once you're enrolled here. So so if you start with the Korea as your area study, and then you decide that you're really interested in it, you can switch to a Korean Studies track, right? But what I want to warn you is ahead of time is that if you do choose to go with the Korean Studies, the requirements are slightly different. So you just need to plan ahead, right? There's a language component that you can place out of if you're particularly good. And there are a couple of additional core elective classes that focus on Korea that you need to take. Everything else is the same for the non-thesis track and the thesis track. And then finally, here we also have our PhD, which is similar in composition. It's a 2-year program in which you do the core compulsory courses are those that you do in close cooperation with your advisor. And then we have advanced research methods, and then these advanced seminars, which usually take place at night. And these are much more in-depth, challenging, sort of reading-based classes typically, or research-based classes. And with that in mind, for those of you who are doing a master's or thinking about doing a master's and feel like you really want to challenge yourself, it is possible with the instructor's permission to take these advanced seminars during your third or fourth semester. If you have a high GPA and the instructor will allow, you can join these classes as well. So if our core classes are not enough for you and you're up for even greater challenge, we're here for you. We can meet your personal challenge to yourself. So let me talk a little bit about a couple of our tracks. Usually we have a person from each track, but for some reason, everybody has class right now. So they're all teaching those classes. So I'm going to substitute for international commerce and international development and cooperation. Our international commerce track is divided into sort of two subcomponents, really. One is multilateralism and regionalism in international commerce, which looks a lot at commercial policy and trade policy, both within, particularly within East Asia and including Southeast Asia, and at the global level. And here are a bunch of the professors involved. You can find out more about them on our website, of course. And the other part of it is international business and finance, in which you learn about global finance, national finance, and business strategy. And you can see also on a few of these slides that these professors pride themselves on working closely with students to try to publish some of their articles. So there are a number of articles that they've published with you, potentially you, if you're writing a thesis. Within the international development and cooperation track, which is mine, we sort of like to lay claim to all of the professors here because international development is perhaps one of the most integrated of all disciplines here. But our primary concern is to explore interactions among states, international organizations, aid agencies, and individuals in reducing poverty and inequality, as well as achieving sustainable development and addressing climate change. There's a number, the career paths are endless in any of these, but within IDC, we like to think that we give you opportunities to combine theoretical knowledge with practical knowledge. You can develop your theoretical knowledge directly through our program, by functioning as a TA or an RA, by attending international conferences. And then you can also develop your practical knowledge through internships at international organizations with which we have a number of relationships. You can work at, often many students have opportunities to work at KOICA as young professionals or in other positions. And ultimately, we hope that many of the IDC students, and many of them have, wind up in either public organizations within Korea, like KOICA or the Exim Bank, international organizations like the UN or the World Bank, private organizations like social enterprises or consulting firms, and in NGOs, Korean NGOs or international NGOs and or academics. So fortunately, we do have Im Sijeong, Professor Im Sijeong, who will introduce international peace and security and Korean and area studies.
Thank you. So, hi, my name is Sijeong Lim. As Professor Porter said, I am one of the faculty members in the International Peace and Security track, and I am here today to introduce the two tracks, International Peace and Security and Area/Korean Studies track to you today. So International Peace and Security track is for those of you who are, as the name suggests, interested in understanding why there's peace and security in international system, or why there's at times or at other places the lack of peace and lack of security in the international system. So we have many faculty members who specializes in the broadly defined area of international peace and security, but I have here divided the thematic areas into 3. You might be interested in understanding violent and militarized conflicts in the world, such as the wars and civil wars. And then you can take courses from these professors who I classified here as international security. You might also be interested in peace in terms of a non-militarized cooperation, and conflict in terms of economic and political conflict, such as trade wars or disputes between states over accepting immigrants and refugees, or conflicts at times over the issues of climate change. These are the professors on the international political economy that you can take courses with and share your perspectives. You might also be interested in the role of various institutions in the world in facilitating and sometimes undermining peace and security in the world. Then we have courses where you can learn more about the functions of the international institutions, and you can also learn lessons from history of international peace and security. So that was about the international peace and security track. And here are some of the sample theses that actually turned into an academic publications. So these are all student theses, later became an academic journal article. And you can just see from the slide the diverse research interests of students, including the studies on refugee crisis, studies on public diplomacy, and studies on the role of media in tackling climate change. And you can also see how our alumni are now working in various sectors, including in the international organizations, in the private consulting sector, and also in the media industry. Last but not least, we have the final track, area studies and Korean studies. So this is a track where you can specialize in addition to a thematic area and area-wise expertise. So we have professors who are working a lot on the East Asia-related research areas, and also European studies and also Korean studies. But as you can see from their profiles, their disciplinary and thematic substantive research areas vary. So you can study the historical institutional perspectives, and then you can, in area-wise, specialize in East Asia, but you can also, discipline-wise, more interested in the economics, and then specialize in terms of your area specialties in East Asia. So there are a lot of different combinations that you can create based on your substantive interests and area-specific interests. If you are interested in the area studies or Korean studies track, we also have centers that are area-specific. And these centers can give you a lot of opportunities, both in terms of research, teaching, and also lots of special lectures and student-oriented activities. So later you might be able to hear more about East Asia-specific or European studies-specific opportunities outside of the regular curriculums. But here I am just proudly presenting our 2 centers, Center for East Asian Studies and Jamone EU Center for Excellence. So if you come join our program, you can participate in various activities that are offered by these area-specific centers. I think this is all for me, and I'll give the mic back
to me. Thank you so much, man. That was such a good job. I think you're going to have to do all the tracks next time. So now we've made the case for why you should be interested in international studies, why you should do international studies here at Korea University Graduate School of International Studies, and we've given you a sort of overview of the curriculum, the curricular aspects of our program. But now I would like to ask Professor Seungho Lee to talk about other additional opportunities that are available to you while you're here.
First one, I would like to talk about certificate programs. We have a variety of certificate programs in East Asia and Europe, which are showing that the area aspects and also some the thematic wise, we have the human rights studies, and also we have focusing on Korean studies. And also we have some special programs called Campus Asia. It's related to risk management. And also we have the BK20 program. We are focusing on local conflict management. And also we are proud to have a variety of exclusive dual exchange programs and American University, and we have the dual degree and exchange. And also through the Campus Asia, we have Kobe and Fudan. And recently we discovered that a very new opportunity in Europe, particularly in London, we have the very close relationship with SOAS. So we developed that dual degree. But there's one interesting thing you have to remember. There are some different terms and conditions. Please be aware of that. Anyway, Waseda and Diplomatic Academy Vienna, we have exchange programs. And this is a world map, or slightly different from the usual world maps you have, but we are putting that our own partner universities, and you can go anywhere. You can just choose. If you like to go to somewhere in East Asia, we have the partner universities in China and Japan. Also, we have some very solid bases in Europe, SOAS and also Diplomatic Academy of Vienna, and also the American University is located in Washington, D.C. And we also, that I already briefly mentioned about special programs. Graduate program on area study program is the first one I would like to introduce, GPAS usually called. And I have put this different photos. You can find me, one of the photos, and also Dean Kang. We went to Bangkok and Thammasat University. You can see that the largest photo. And also we took a photo in front of the UN ASCAP, which is the most popular destination for many overseas interns. And so we have a variety of program under the GPAS. And also Campus Asia program. And also you can find me again. I'm everywhere. And then this is a China, Japan, Korea trilateral cooperation on higher education. That's our abbreviation. We have a special theme, risk management. And we have very good relationship with Kobe and Fudan universities. And there are some various supports. We encourage students to go to abroad and then have some cultural and also political and social economic experiences in their countries. And also the Professor Sijeong, she already mentioned about EU Center programs. We have excellent partners as well as some interesting programs throughout Europe. And also BK21 is the richest program. So if you're interested in BK21, will be the one that provide loads of funding. You don't need to worry about any kind of money support on issues. And 3.2, this 3+2 is that giving some more opportunity to undergraduate students. And we have also some emergence of the interest of the students on global human rights program. So they're interesting support. And some professors they're working on that climate change issues, marine governance program. You can have a look at them, the interesting programs you can find. And also we have the wide network. I can list up all of all kinds of institutions already mentioned by UN ASCAP or UN ODC, UNESCO Bangkok. We have MOU with the UNESCO Bangkok, but also other varieties, the varieties of the institutions. And program opportunities, yeah, we can support that GPAS, already talked about this one, and also human rights program too. All other is we are trying to work on some other varieties of program with through the BK21 program. So let's move on. That's how can I pay for my KU GSIS degree? Scholarships. The Korean students, we have outstanding students. Yes, we are providing support, financial support, and also KIEP GPAS program, BK21. As I told you before, that's the richest program we have. So you can really keep up all the information given by the BK21. Also, Campus Asia program, we're providing some indirect support. They have changed policy very recently. And also that we have some chunk of financial support for international students. There are varieties of program too.
So what can you do with your GSIS degree? Lots of things. Maybe and hopefully you can find a company that you want to work for here. These are places where our students just since 2017 have found work upon graduation or after graduation, soon after graduation. And down on the bottom here, you can see the areas in which their employment is distributed. Our students in particular wind up in private firms, public institutions, and NGOs, whether international or domestic. And many of them, fortunate at least to us who are academics, many of them also go on to further academic work, either here or overseas. LSE, American University, Johns Hopkins, etc. And to help you find your way forward through our BK21 program, which is, again, as Professor Lee was suggesting, one of our most robust and wealthiest programs here, and is a program that is open to both Korean students and international students. It's totally open after your first semester here. And it also offers a number of our local career pathfinder sessions in which people who have graduated and gone on and furthered their careers then come back and tell you how they got there. And in fact, in this Pathfinder series coming up at the end of the month or beginning of next month, we have the human resources person or one of the human resources persons from the UNDP who will be coming to talk about building a career within the UN. So there are a lot of activities here. And now, it's my great pleasure to introduce Tatiana GUST, who will tell you a little bit about the people you can meet and the sort of social activities, right? Because graduate school isn't just about studying and learning. I mean, for us who are academics, maybe we think that way. But when we were students, we all had a lot of fun. And we want you to have a lot of fun too. So here's Tatiana to tell you how to do that here.
Thank you, Professor. All right, I'm back. My name is Tatiana GUST, and I'm a third semester Korean Studies major here at KU, GSIS. And I'm going to briefly introduce to you the Student Council and also various societies that you can join here on campus. So to introduce the Student Council is a group of 8 members, and we strive for global diversity and representation within our 8 members. This semester, we have members from the US, Korea, Norway, Serbia, and China and Argentina. The goal of Student Council is, first of all, to aid students in transitioning to Korea and campus. We understand that moving to Korea can be a very new and difficult experience, and so we want to make sure that you're comfortable. So students that have questions about life on campus and life in Korea are able to comfortably ask us questions, and we can help you out. We also help plan student events, which I will talk about in the next slides. We have a lot of exciting events that go on during the semester. And then we also do merchandise, and we are a bridge between the admin and the student body. So even though it's only been a month, we've already had a number of fun activities to help you meet new people and integrate into our program. This country is opening up more, and so we have restarted our our semester student dinner in the beginning of the semester. We also have a coffee social where we provide free coffees to students, which is always exciting. And then we offer campus tours to students who don't know the campus very well and want to get to know the campus. Here are various student council activities that we've provided in the past. We've had different walking and hiking events, Pepito Day, Halloween dress-up events, and also just general love and support from the student council during your midterm and finals. There are 4 different student societies that you can join on campus. Aside from the undergraduate societies, which you can join some of them if you're interested in swimming, but you can get to know about that when you come here. So the first society you can join is the Society for Climate Change and Sustainable Development. As Professor Potter said, we have a lot of different climate issues that are rising, and so this is an excellent society you can join if you want to talk more about climate change issues. The Southeast Asia Society is for students interested to learn more about different aspects of Southeast Asian culture. And then our next 2 societies, the Human Rights Society is a platform that provides students who are interested in human rights with the perfect opportunity to discuss and share knowledge regarding human rights issues and what we can do about them. And then the final society you can join is the EU Society if you're interested in Europe and the EU. You can learn more about the EU here and enhance your knowledge and spread the knowledge about Europe. So these societies are excellent because not only can you meet new people, you can also learn about new topics, and also if you want to present, you can increase your presentation skills. So I highly suggest looking into joining these societies if you decide to come here. So that is my very brief presentation. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok if you have any questions. It's great to meet you all here, and I hope to see you on campus soon. Thank you.
Great, thank you. The student council is great. I talk to them all the time, trying to address issues that arise, sort of, and to improve your future here. So hopefully by now we've convinced you that this is the place for you, because I'm sure it is, and we're sure it is. So let me just give you a couple of tips for and bits of information for how to apply. Our online abstract application submission has already opened up yesterday and will go until November 4th. You can access that through the website. And during this time also, you should be sending your supporting documents as well, not just filling in the form. So that means getting those transcripts and what have you in place now. For those Korean applicants who are successful in the document screening, our live interviews will be on November 19th, usually in the early afternoon. And for some international PhD applicants, we may also have interviews on that day. Korean PhD applicants will that are successful will be interviewed. And then we'll let you all know where you are and whether or not we're able to provide you with financial support by December 9th. So just to help you help yourselves and help us make good decisions about you, here's a few tips if you're putting your applications together. And let me just point out that my own website link on the bottom there, so you might want to screenshot that, has additional documents and recommendations about how to write good applications. But in essence, your statement of purpose, your SOP, is the most important document in your application. And I know that most Korean, at least in the past, many Korean students start off by saying that they're diligent and hardworking. And, you know, don't tell us that. We know. You want to do a PhD or a master's degree. We know you're diligent and hardworking. That's why you're here, right? That's, you know, that much we know. What we really want to know is more about you and your interests. So, you know, so don't just summarize information that's elsewhere in your application. We have that to look at. Instead, tell us what makes you unique and tell us what your story is. And try to be clear in particular about what it is you want to learn by doing your degree here, right? That's a key aspect of us trying to understand who you are and what you want to do. And also tell us why you want to pursue that. What is it, in your own experience or your own concerns that are driving you to pursue that topic? That information is the most important and compelling bits of information that we need to make a good decision about whether or not you're an appropriate fit for our program. And so in conclusion, hopefully you're already firing up your applications and you've already asked for your transcripts and stuff like that from your home institutions. We really do hope that you will join us here at Korea University Graduate School of International Studies to work together to develop the knowledge, the skills, the research that we need in order to tackle these multidimensional global challenges going forward. So if you want to connect with us, if you have questions, I'll take questions live in just a moment. But if you want to follow us elsewhere, this is our click farm here. You can see our click farm and websites, different channels through which you can reach us. I particularly encourage you to look into our YouTube channel, where you can also find a lot of videos from previous students about their life here and at the university. And so you can get a better sense of what it will be like to study here. And most of our announcements go out through Facebook and Twitter, I believe. So if you want to find out what's going on, you can find it out there. And even if you don't choose not to enroll and you find events that are of interest, you're always welcome to come join us here. So with that, let me just say thank you and hope we see you on, November 19th for your interview, or at least that we see your applications if you're an international student, and thus see you in the springtime. So with that, let's turn over to any questions that you might have that I can help you with, that we have that bear further clarifications. Anyone here, our vast studio audience? Nothing offhand. I'm awaiting the technical concern of getting the chat up. Yeah, so if you have questions, please enter them into the chat box, and at some point I will be able to answer them, or somebody will start conveying them to me so that I can answer them for you. I don't know. But needless to say, while we're here, right, it's these are multidimensional challenges that the world is facing. We have the education and the experience that we can offer you to help you develop your own personal skills, to pursue your own individual issues of concern in an environment that is friendly and where you can obviously make a lot of friends. In particular, right, it's great that all of you will now be coming mostly post-COVID here, because life has really started to blossom on campus, and things are much more lively than they were over the last couple of years. So much so that we're all forgetting how to work Zoom, I think. We're doing all these live classes. Oh, we do have a question. Yes, ma'am. How many PhD candidates do we select per year is the question. And the answer is that we can select up to 12 Korean PhD students. Up until now, it's just been 7 per year, but we just recently expanded that to 12. So we're really eager to bolster and expand our doctoral program. And international students we typically, the limit is not strict, but we typically bring in 3 to 5 every year, I think. Maybe you, hopefully you. Yeah. Yes, sir. Okay, a question about the statement of purpose. Ah, yes, the infamous research plan. It depends on whether or not you're a master's student or a PhD student. That will change the resolution of the document. Again, for a master's student, what we're mainly concerned with is your motivations for pursuing a particular topic and maybe some background about that topic that you have and what you think you want to look at further, right? Because again, the reality is if you're doing a master's degree, and especially if you're doing a thesis, as I hope you will, the ideas that typical students come with are generally a little bit broad and open-ended, but it's your job through the master's thesis to focus those questions and make them more precise and operationable. So at the master's level, again, we're really looking for a sort of some sort of sense of the issue that motivates you the most that you want to research, and some sort of sense that you understand what's going on around that kind of thing. So sure. And at the PhD level, I'm less concerned about this than my colleagues, but my colleagues make most of these decisions. The research plan should typically be a little more focused and a little more precise, even though that will typically change as your degree develops. It's the nature of education, right? You learn new things, you find new avenues of research. And I mean, hopefully that's the way it works, because you know there's a huge world of knowledge out there to explore. And where you start is not where you're going to end up. But at the PhD level, you should probably have a little more precise or narrowed field of interest and research plan. And perhaps even, again, at the doctoral level, what we typically like to see is that you have a sense of what the literature around your topic is, and you have some sort of idea of how you can actually research your topic. So if you don't have those things, the professors will ask you in the interviews. so plan ahead. Okay. Let's see, what is our acceptance rate for the master's degree? It again is split between Korean and international students because of the way the Korean government works here. Our acceptance rate for Korean master students is relatively high, to be honest with you. We have a lot of good candidates, and so it's been pretty high in recent years. Although we've cut down the number of students that we have been able to accept, so it's getting a little bit more competitive now. So, you know, so don't count on anything. And at the and for international students, it's kind of the opposite sense, in which it's actually become more and more competitive over the last few years. I think in the last round we accepted roughly, I think 50% of the applicants, roughly. Yeah, and we, you know, and we accepted more students than we usually do, because we're also trying to, we're experimenting with enlarging our international student body, because we think that enriches the educational experience for everybody. The more people we have from more places, the more ideas we have to investigate, and the more sort of concrete experiences out there we have to to bring together, right? Because that is one of the great things about graduate school, is that the more people you have from more different backgrounds, the more robustly your own ideas are tested and challenged and sharpened. So, so this is something that we really want to strengthen here. So any other questions out there? Yes, ma'am. If I understand your question correctly, you're citing the fact that the international studies programs are typically professional programs that are designed usually to be a terminal degree, which not in the bad sense, but in the, you get the degree and then you go out into the professional world. And whether or not our program is focused on producing professionals or academics, is that the question? I think in a sense, my personal take on it, maybe my colleagues would beg to differ, but I think we try to split the two, right? We definitely want to produce professionals, but as academics ourselves, we love to see our students go on to further academic careers. And one of the reasons, again, that we like to emphasize the thesis is because we think it actually opens up more possibilities than it closes down, right? Because doing a thesis gives you the sort of research skills and academic skills to identify a problem, understand the literature around a problem, the context of a problem, and develop strategies for coming up with an answer or more information about how to address that problem. And those are precisely the skills, of course, that you need as an academic, but they're also the skills that you need in the workplace, in most workplaces, in the most engaging workplaces. You need to be able to do the same thing, right? Organizations are continually trying to, coming across problems of, for instance, how do we introduce better water and sanitation into this highlands of Laos or what have you. And you have to be able to accurately identify the issues of concern and what we know about it, and develop strategies for coming up with the best response. So the skills, in a sense that we encourage you to get through the thesis are applicable in both directions. But again, we also create and offer all of these different internship opportunities, or at least we try to find ways for you to find internships that will allow you to transition into professional careers, outside of academia more readily. Sure. I'm just sort of excited about the topic, I guess. But it's good stuff. So I'll move on to Nina's second question. Do internships take place between semesters, and can you do more than one? And are they mostly found with the help of KU? As I was just implying in my last answer to the last question, we have some institutional relationships that help you find internships. But again, like the real world, much of the onus of finding these internships is on you. We do everything we can to publicize internship opportunities that come up, and you can see that on the website again, I think under the announcements section of our website. So you can, or also on Instagram or Facebook or one of those. I don't know. I refuse to do social media, so I don't know which one it is. But check out those, and you'll see the announcements as well. so it's a little bit of, we want to give you, we try to give you as much of an assist as we can, but ultimately it is up to you. And internships can take place either between semesters or during semesters. And you can do that either by taking a semester off, or if you're really sort of masochistic, you can try to do an internship and your degree at the same time, depending on your needs and your strengths. But yeah, there's no particular restrictions here. In fact, many of our students, especially the thesis students, often take 5 semesters or even 6, because taking a semester off to do an internship is pretty standard practice. Anything else? You've got to have a question. Everybody else here. Oh, you do. Awesome. Is there a quota on how many students can do Campus Asia? Yeah, there is a limit on the number of students that we can send to each of the universities based on the government financing levels. But if you're really, if you're Korean and really intent on it, it's generally been pretty easy to find your way to one of the 2 universities. Which one do you want to go to, Kobe or Fudan? I don't know. Yeah, maybe as an exchange semester at each of them, you might be able to pull it off. That's a new novel. See, that's the kind of forward thinking we need. Yeah, no, that should. I don't see why it wouldn't be possible. But you can't. I don't think you could do 3 master's degrees. I don't know, but I don't know. Nobody's tried it, so push the boundaries, my friend. Anything else? No? Okay. Well, it looks like we've got these things covered. You can always, again, if you do have questions, you can reach me for, when and how are students assigned to their advisor? That is a good question. And what typically happens is at the beginning or just before the beginning of your 3rd semester, or whichever semester you start writing your thesis, you ask somebody to become your advisor. And then they say yes or no, which, maybe I'm not going to be here, I'm going to be on sabbatical, or I have too many students already, or that's not a topic that I can help you with. But most often it's, yeah, come on over, let's see what we can do. But basically it's the beginning of the 3rd semester, and you try to identify somebody that you think will be appropriate for you. You are welcome, Subin. So again, if you have questions about the academic aspects of the program, you can contact me at my email that you can see on the slide. If you have questions about the admissions process or the sort of technical nitty-gritty details about the department and our policies, you should contact the administrative office, which you can reach through the website again. And before I go, again, I would just like to tell you, if you do have questions, and questions will come up as you go, do check out the website, especially if you're concerned about scholarships and what have you. We've really, the admin office has done a really great job of trying to get all the information into that as possible, so that so that you can find it yourself. But with that, I really hope I see your applications in the next month, and that I get to see you all in my classes next year. So thanks for attending.